Welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash, and it's an unbelievable show today. We've got encyclopedic brains of Carl and Craig Edwards who are going to be joining me. But if I said to you, Magnolia Lane, Crow's Nest, Dogwood, back nine on Sunday, Hootie Johnson, and of course the Green Jacket, then obviously we'll be talking about Augusta National, the home of the Masters 2020, but not in April. It's going to be now in November. So what are we going to be expecting? Well, first of all, there's a 2T start. That's a bit of an anomaly. We're going to have softer fairways, bad weather. We're going to have delays. If you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we can notify you. And if we're going to go a little bit late like it was today, because there was a little bit of electrical activity in the air, I've been given the thumbs up. We're ready to go. So press the link in the description. That'll take you over to Craig's articles. There'll be winners galore over there, I promise, as long as they're the same selections as me. I'm absolutely buzzing for this Masters 2020. Tiger, most people's hero. He's the defending champion, but not a lot of people are talking about him. Kyle, Craig, welcome, gentlemen. I'll come to you first, Kyle. The Masters, the only golfing major that's always played at the same venue. So then that tells us, and it gives us them years and years of history and memories. Give me one of your favorite memories, please.
Oh, I mean, my favorite memory, I was a young man playing Tiger Woods PGA golf, and I'll just never forget that fist pump at 18 and when he just dominated the course. It's something I'll never forget. And one of my favorite memories to go back, I know it's a long time ago, was that chip on 11 by Larry Mize years and years ago. It's one of my favorite things to watch. Tom Watson was one of my favorite golfers growing up as well. So many great memories. But for me, it's Tiger Woods, and who can forget last year? I mean, coming full circle and making the comeback, and the collapse of Molinari last year, and Tiger Woods taking that tournament over was. I remember crying when he won that, which is not something that happens often. So Tiger Woods has been there for me. Don't think he'll be there this year, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a tougher grind for him this year, but certainly so many great memories. And the great part is we get to do this again in 6 months. So
yeah, I can't wait. I mean, that's the best. I mean, for a lot of us, the Masters is the pinnacle of the year. As we say, it's normally in April, but it's going to be in November. Craig, what differences are you going to be expecting from having it in November and not April?
Well, it reads like the major difference is going to be the run out on the fairway. You're not going to get that run out. So that will affect the players that are a little bit shorter. They're saying around the greens, probably not as slick on the runoffs if people miss the green. So possibly the Masters has always veered towards the longer sort of players, and possibly even more so this year with that in mind. And even maybe the high ball strikers this year, because if someone's coming in from really high, like say Jason Day or something, maybe they'll get that one errant shot like Freddie Couples did when he didn't go back into the water at 12. Maybe they'll just stay on the bank, and that will be the difference, and that will mean that they win. And it may just come down to one moment like that. So
do we expect the greens to be as quick as they are normally, though?
Well, that's what they're saying. It's not that easy to expect it so, but they are saying, that they are expecting them to be as quick. It's just around the greens or not. I think we've got to wait and see that. I mean, they're saying the fall weather hasn't really affected the greens the way it has the surrounds. So
yeah, we are expecting bad weather on Wednesday night, obviously preparing for the first tee-offs on Thursday morning, but also inclement weather coming in, and we could have delays. So that means that do we want to be late early or early late? We'll go through all of this, but there's many, many factors that we've got to try and get together and come out with the winning solutions, because we're going to have the air thicker, softer fairways. Softer fairways mean they can get ripped through that ball. Now, if they're ripping through that ball, they might get a little bit more spin than they normally would, and they will be 5 foot away. But when the ball's finished, they could be 25, 30 foot away. I'm going to just put up, we can talk over this. So we're going to put up the full screen graphic of the betting, please, Fab. And here we look at, and I see DeChambeau at 8s, DJ at 9s. I don't see any value in either of them. I think they're far too short. But saying that, Kyle, we used to have Tiger Woods at 7-2.
Exactly. And I agree. I actually like DJ of those two, and I probably the better value would be John Rahm or Justin Thomas. They come out super high in the model. But yeah, you're just not seeing, there's that difference. Now, there's talk that DeChambeau, I mean, everyone saw the ESPN article yesterday. Is he going to, channel his inner Billy Madison, if you will, and break golf and just, he's talking about playing, driving, in between the tee and the fairway on the other hole to have these short wedges in. But it's interesting when you look at Bryson as the favorite, and I know we'll talk more about this. But there's a lot of things that concern me, and one of them is going to be his putting on bent grass. He's actually been better recently with the putter, but as we all know, he is so dependent on that greens book that he's not going to have here. So if he gets super errant and isn't able to flip these, three-quarter wedges, half wedges close enough, he could really struggle. So, I mean, for me, do I think he'll be in the top 20? Most likely, of course. Could he come out there and have one of these revolutionary type tournaments like Tiger did back in, the late 90s, 2000s? Sure. But I do think there's some concerns here, and it'll be interesting to watch him on the greens and with his short game, because we know what he's going to do. He's going to bomb the ball 350 yards off the tee and let it and play it as it lies.
Yeah, and he showed clubhead speed on his TrackMan yesterday, 201. But the problem I've got is his destructive shot is left. I always think you want to be on the right side of most fairways going down here, Craig. Fad, stick it back up again, please. Who catches your eye, Craig, when you look at the value? Because a lot of these boys, I mean, DeChambeau, Johnson, Rahm, Thomas, and McIlroy, I think that Koepka at 16 to 1, he should be up there.
Well, if you're looking from purely win point of view, you've got to pretty much for betting purposes overlook Dustin because he's had his chances here. And Justin Thomas is yet to really convince me that he can, Augusta's for him. And then you got Rory that's a little bit... Rory's got the class. He might be the springer. Schauffele hasn't won for a long time. 16 is very short, Schauffele. Koepka, he's the guy, like you say. Basically, with Koepka, you could probably think of a plan whereby you bet him now, small, and you bet him again in contention because you can bet your life. He's quite, what's the guy, a reserved sort of guy, and he won't have liked people like Bryson and people stealing the show and getting all the publicity. Bryson's yet to be a winner like Koepka, but he could have timed his run to perfection. And out of them top 7, if he was to show on the leaderboard, he'd be the one I expected to win if there was the 7 of them. And Cantlay, well, it's hard to get a read on Cantlay. Sometimes I'm not even sure he's enjoying his golf that much. But I think he could definitely play Augusta. He's definitely got each way value in the places. For win market though, I think you're right, Flash. I think Koepka from the left side of the screen, 1 to 10, would be the guy that's going to win. And interestingly enough, if you look at that, who has won the Masters in the first 10 in the betting there? It's only Patrick Reed.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm on Patrick Reed. I actually put the bet on late January, thinking that he was definitely going to be my man, Captain America. Now, if we are going to have rain delays and we are going to have slow play and maybe even the lates on Friday have got to come back and finish their rounds on Saturday morning, then I want Captain America in my trench. I think that mental strength is going to be the way because so many of these boys, like your Rahm, your DeChambeaus, they think about it too much. Even maybe McIlroy. I mean, the Masters legacy, Carl, the big thing is that they think about it, and because of everything that goes with it, they don't get the job done. And back 9 on Sunday, it finds them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder, we've heard Rory talk about this, where no fans sort of affect his mental state going through. And when you look at a guy like Rory, a guy like Tiger, who are used to the crowd being behind them, sort of fueling that adrenaline, it helps them, but it also hurts the other players. When you're a player on 12 and you hear a roar on 11 or 10, and you know that Tiger just made a putt or Rory just made a putt, it gets into the psyche of these players, and I think that does hurt Rory. Rory's always in play at the Masters. He hasn't gotten it done. You would think that these conditions would benefit a long hitter like him, but it's going to be difficult. Then when you look at that right side of the screen, that's where it starts to get intriguing for me, and a couple names that popped off. Ricky Fowler. I know that his approach game has been weak, but he's in the top 20 in every other statistical category that I'm using. Tee to green.
Can we rely on him though, Carl? Can we rely on him? Because he's just a public favourite. And yes, his odds are like fantastic compared to normal. Normal, we would see him maybe 25, 33 to 1. Now he's double them odds. But can we rely on him on a Sunday? He almost comes into that Tony Finau category of great for 3 days. And when the pressure's on, he doesn't do it because he has a good record round here, but it's place money. So maybe he's a top 10 or top 20 market man.
Sure, and you never know. Some of these great players, once they get their weekend, it happens. You remember we used to say this about Phil Mickelson for a long time. He just can't get it done. He can't win a major, and then he finally got it done. I'm not big on relying on Ricky to win, but when I look at a player who, in his last 5 starts at the Masters, he has one miscut back in 2016, but we're talking T12, T11, second, and T9. I do think there's some win equity there at 66 to 1. I mean, I can think of a whole lot worse bets to make than Ricky Fowler. And another guy who really interests me, and I know we're not big on the debutantes, but Sebastian Munoz, especially like to place in the top 20, I think he's really interesting. I like what he's been doing. All the numbers line up for him. If you're playing DraftKings, it's 6,700 on DraftKings. I think he makes the cut here. I think that's another interesting guy to watch. And, of course, Bubba. The course plays nicely for Bubba. Seems to be in a good spot mentally. So I think there's some nice value on that right side of the screen. But, the Rahms, the Patrick Reeds, who I'm with you. I love Patrick Reed. He's the guy I placed a bet on as well. But
Fabian, stick that bracket up then, please, again, because I want to ask Craig, when you start looking around maybe from sort of Bubba at 30 to Spieth at 66s, they're all players on their day that you can sort of, you're going to get a run. And obviously, if it is their day, then it's unbelievable value. And I look at number 15, and I know that 55 to 1 was available this morning, Oosthuizen, and he is going to be paired up tomorrow morning with DeChambeau and Jon Rahm. And I'm wondering if DeChambeau and Jon Rahm are going to try and out-bully each other, and Oosty can fly under the radar.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other factor that might play into what you're thinking, Flash, is that Kyle made a good point about there's going to be no galleries, there's going to be no atmosphere. I say no atmosphere. The atmosphere is going to be different. So players like Rory and that feed off it, they may, if they stop for a moment to make this excuse in the mind that they're feeling a little bit flat, then they will already have lost the concentration and lose. Now, someone like Oosthuizen, for argument's sake, quite a grinder, consistent player, would he benefit from no galleries? And, he's kind of, he'll just get on with it, play his own game. And if them two go to knock 10 bells out of each other, it may just be set up for someone like Oosthuizen or Fowler, someone that's really not been in contention as much as they should be of late. And when they do get in contention, they're not going to have those back nine sounds on the Sunday when someone's gone in the water, like last year, basically when Tiger was coming down the 11th and, they're all going in the water. Those moments, that 10 minutes, Tiger only had to play one shot into the heart of the green on the 12th, and basically he won the Masters there and then. And that atmosphere isn't going to be there. I mean, you've got to contemplate the fact that will suit some players more than others, and maybe that'll suit the players that have been a little bit flaky in contention over the years, which is a bit unfair in Oosthuizen, but definitely would apply to Fowler.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, it's the steeliness that comes to mind with some of these players like Oosty. Now, with Spieth, obviously everyone remembers his meltdown around Amen Corner when he was like 5-6 shots clear and fatted, chunked in the water. So, I mean, a lot of people might think that it's Spieth's turn to come back. We've got Munoz there on 150 to 1. I know that Munoz, I know him obviously really well, being Colombian. He's one of those that's not going to drop many shots, and he's just going to hang around. So maybe he is one of those around the top 20, but keep him outside of maybe the top 10, so you can't go each way. Fabian, I'm going to ask the boys now if they can just give me maybe a couple of names, Craig, first of all, who you don't fancy. Put a line for them. Don't have them on your card.
Right. Do you want them off this screen?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, well,
go for them.
You know, I've got to say Schauffele, because he hasn't won for so long. And, you know, I'm kind of I've got to say Rory, you know, I mean, for that reason, you know, the lack of atmosphere and everything, I don't think that's going to play into Rory's strengths. And they would be my two, number 5 and 6, that I would be opposing. You know, they're for betting purposes, the line goes through them, definitely. Okay,
Carl, what about yourself? Do you fancy there's anything in maybe the top 6? We've talked about Koepka at 16 to 1. There's a player that's not on there that I have actually got involved with. Only small, but again, he's a major winner. He's an unbelievable ball striker, and it's Justin Rose.
Yeah, I actually like Justin Rose, and I made a bet on him back in March, you know, a few weeks before we knew this tournament was going to be canceled. And I don't mind Justin Rose. The numbers didn't get any juicier, or, you know, so I didn't get a ton of value on that. It's about the same. But I think, look, if we're going to have these soggy conditions, a major champion, strong mental game, I sort of like these European players. Who's more used to playing in wet, you know, overcast, damp, tough, maybe. It looks like the weather's going to be fairly warm in the 70s or 80s. But a European player like Justin Rose, I still think is a nice value. Of course, here, looking in the top 12, you got to put a line through Tiger Woods. And it breaks my heart to say it, but you can't go to Tiger. I feel like he has a higher odds of missing the cut than winning the tournament. Unfortunately, he just can't drive. He can't putt. I know he loves Augusta. I will be rooting for Tiger. Make no mistake about it, but I certainly can't bet Tiger. And I agree with Craig. I think Roy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
go ahead.
Well, we're gonna try and select a couple of top 20s. So Fabian, can you stick these the graphic up for the top 20, please? Okay, so here's our top 20. We got Craig's picks is Cameron Smith and Justin Rose. We just spoke about Justin. Craig, tell me a little bit about Cameron Smith and Justin Rose, please.
Right, well, Justin, we touched upon there, and he's been going to the Masters. Wow, I mean, he's just a resilient sort. Been going there for 20 years. I think he's only played it 14 times in that time, but 9 top 20s, twice runner-up, and that top 10 finish in the last major kind of caught my eye. And, you know, I've read some of the scribes over here writing him off, and, you know, I don't like to see that any case. I mean, like, it's kind of a short-term view. And Justin Rose, I remember him turning pro and missing his first 20 cuts on the back of coming placed at Royal Birkdale. And he is a resilient, tough sort. And like Kyle says, come Sunday, it might not just be a top 20. He may just, you know, win. And Cameron Smith, player I've had in mind I remember him getting placed in the US Open in 15, and 3 years later getting placed here. And he has just been trending into form. And this is his time of year as well. If you look, the last 3 Decembers, the 2 before he won back home on the Australian PGA Championship. Last year he was 3rd when going for the hat-trick, and then started the new season on the PGA Tour, first start at the Sony Open by winning it. So, you know, there is something in that. Players do play better at the end of the year, and he's definitely played well on his last 2 or 3 starts on the PGA Tour. And he looks a solid selection. Sneaky long. I mean, unless something goes wrong, he looks quite a solid selection for the top 20.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that all of our selections look really good for top 20. Carl, you've gone for Paul Casey, who's very long off the tee, needs that putter to be hot, and Hideki Matsuyama, who he's just a regular top 10 throughout the world, a proper round-the-world performer.
Yeah, and Paul Casey, I guess, would be the riskier one. We haven't seen a bunch out of him since the restart. I think he was T35 at Zozo, which is okay. But, besides last year where he did miss the cut at the Masters, you look at his 4 previous performances, T6, T4, 6th, and T15. You mentioned it. I think these conditions, wetter conditions where longer guys off the tee are going to have an advantage this week. And just some of the other stuff that he does. Let me pull him up here. He's decent on bent grass in the top 38 in terms of putting on bent grass on par 72 courses. 21st in ball striking, 42nd tee to green. So what you're really worried about is, can his short game come around? Will he make the putts? And if he does end up around the green, will he be a disaster out of those bunkers? We've sort of seen him collapse in those sort of situations before. But I think Paul Casey gets back into form. This course is right for him later in the year. I think Paul Casey is a nice top 20. And then you mentioned Hideki. Look, tied for second last week, just a few days ago in Houston. A consistently good player. Now, the one concern, he's 62nd on bent grass. So
he's putting. Honestly, he's putting. I know all about Hideki. Hideki will find a way to get beat. Tee to green. Right. Honest to God, he is like the best in the world week in, week out. But putting, it's like he's putting with a loose bit of spaghetti. He has a mental flaw in his putting, because if he didn't, he would be world number 1 and he would win far more than he actually does.
Exactly, and that's the risk there. But he seems to find a way to get it done. You're just hoping that his iron play is so good that you're not watching him. You're not watching him 3-putt from 20 feet away. That he's within that 10 to 15 foot range, and then he should be able to hang around. And if he starts making some putts, he's a real danger to win this tournament. I think he's an overlooked guy. I like Hideki Matsuyama quite a bit this week.
Yeah, I think he's the price and the value around 25 to 1. I've seen quite a few people tip him up, and I'm thinking, it's not the 15-foot putts, because 15-foot putts, you're almost getting your weight and your line right. And if they drop, they drop. It's the 5-foot putts for par that I really worry about with Hideki. Now, my two, one's an absolute ball striker who I can't believe is 250 to 1, who enjoys it round here. And remember, the Spanish have a great record round here. Remember Sergio winning it on Seve's 60th. We had Alafabal prior to that. And we had Seve Ballesteros. So I'm just wondering if Rafa can do the job. Unbelievable ball striker. But he's another one that needs the putter to get hot. Now, the other one is Brandt Snedeker. Putts. Pulls the club back. Goes straight through the ball. Goes in. It goes in. He does not have any mental cobwebs when it comes to rolling the ball towards a hole. And I remember him having a good start here on quite a few occasions. It's just recently he's dropped away, and he's been practicing, or he's been trying to hone in on that draw. Well, quite a few of these are dog leg lefts. So let's hope that he gets that putter rolling. And 166 to 1 he is. I know that Rafa is plus 700 for the top 20, and Snedeker is plus 400. So if you just want to get involved with just the top 20 and have a roll, I think them two are definitely going to look after you. Now let's condense it down. Let's have a little look at our selections for the top 10, please, Fab. Craig, you've gone for a past winner and a player that I've got a question about his fitness in damp conditions. First of all, Adam Scott. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy Adam Scott and hope that he returns with a green jacket.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Adam Scott's had a light year. He's barely played. So having playing well like he did in Houston last week is probably perfect preparation for him. And I think we can expect him to come on for the run in a horse racing term, and he'll be sharper. Interesting point that Kyle just made about Matsuyama's short game letting him down. Yourself, you both made it. But here at the Masters, sometimes players with dodgy short games win, and Adam Scott's a perfect example of that. Bubba's not great. You've got Bernard Langer winning twice, and you can go back to a few more. So, it's sometimes then pure ball strikers can take it out of the equation and leave themselves easy 2-putts. So, I like Adam Scott. Jason Day, you're right, Flash. I mean, the wet forecast is not ideal. He's a flaky sort. I suppose this goes to a bit of my preconception of Jason Day. I've thought for a long time he's going to win the Masters. I was backing him at the start of the year. and I've been backing him most weeks. He makes the top 10 because I thought he's a Masters winner in the making, and if not, he'll get placed like he has been a lot of weeks. But there's always that worry that he throws his toys out the pram, leaves the course, or gets an injury. And I think you said it there, Flash. If there's delays and everything, that will then play on his temperament, and there's a chance that he'll start making excuses. And that's when you need the sorts like you said, Patrick Reed, just the guys that are tough, going to get it done. I'm just going to get it up there, get me par, move on. And I am a bit worried about Jason Day, but I am also, I kind of think the price he was last week in places at 60-1 was pretty nice. And
definitely,
I got loaded up on that. But at 35-1 this week, I don't know. I mean, he's one of them that if the going gets tough, I'm not sure he's one you really want.
Also, I noticed there's a little bit of a trend with you two. We always say in the horse racing game that horses start to come in their coat and they start bucking and kicking. There's quite a few Australian boys. Now, Australians are just about to move into their summer. So I'm wondering if this is the time of year for your Australians. So we've got Day, we've got Scott, we've got Cameron Smith. Kyle, you've gone for two young, up-and-coming boys that are always there, reliable sorts, but they are a little bit sort of fragmented in the mentality stakes, and that's Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah, and Patrick Cantlay is probably the one I like the most. Just when I go through my models, he is in the top 8 in literally every category, number 2 in strokes gained. Finished in the top 10, finished 9th here last year. I think Cantlay's ready to make that step up. I actually put a little bit of quid in, to use Flash's terms, on Cantlay to win this tournament. It wouldn't shock me if he does. Xander Schauffele, I do think there's great points there. You do worry about him just holding it all together, and Craig just mentioned if there's delays, etc., how does he respond to that? Kid finished second last year, tied for second, behind Tiger Woods. Saw what this course is all about. Really solid across the board. Top 30 in putting on bent grass. Top 5 in total strokes gained. Top 7 tee to green. Top 4 in ball striking. Top 20, just off the board. A long hitter. Top 10 in strokes off the tee. So I think these guys are really solid. It won't shock me if they both make the top 10. Obviously feel a little bit better about Patrick Cantlay than I do Xander Schauffele. I know a lot of people love Xander Schauffele, and rightfully so. He's a great young player, but there is that concern. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But for me, I'd be more surprised if he finished outside the top 20 than if he finished inside the top 10. So I like Xander. I like Cantlay, and let's hope they come through this week because I got some plus money bets on them both. Let's go.
Yeah, I can really see this being a stacked leaderboard come, say, halfway through the front 9 on Sunday. I really can, or late Saturday night when we sit and we have a look at the first 3 days. I can see it being absolutely stacked. Now, I've actually gone with two players I think are going to love Augusta. I think John Rahm. I worry about him now because he's been paired with DeChambeau, and I'm wondering if he's going to be a bit boisterous and he's going to try and hit the ball too hard. Adam Scott, I think, he's going to be around plus 175, plus 200 just to be in the top 10. I mean, I have had a little piece on him each way, first 8 as well. But I just think they're reliable sorts, both unbelievable ball strikers. One putts and gets the ball rolling, great. I do worry about his emotions. And then I've got Adam Scott, who's been there, seen it, done it. And I think that counts for a lot. Also, there's a stat that you want to be looking at someone who's inside the top 50 in the world rankings. Well, with everyone, there's obviously Sergio's out, Neiman's out, which was going to be one of my outsiders, obviously with COVID. There's only about 37. We can put a line for another 15. So realistically, there's probably only 20 players that can actually win this. Well, let's have a little look at our winners. I'm going to come to you, Carl. Fab, stick up the winners and see who we've actually gone for. And we may want to add one or two onto this because, Carl, you've gone for Patrick Reed at 28s and Dustin Johnson at 12s.
Yeah, I was happy what I saw out of DJ this week. I feel good about that. Now, you're not getting a ton of value there. So I could understand not trying to go there. Look, he's the best golfer in the world. His time has got to come at this golf course. I think this week could be the week he gets it done. And I don't want to go too much on Patrick Reed because you definitely get dibs on Patrick Reed since you called him a long time ago. But just to quickly touch on him, he's the type of player, if conditions do get tough, if it's wetter than we thought, if it's windier than we think, if it's a little colder than we think, he can survive all aspects of the game. He's not used to the crowd being behind him, obviously not a crowd favorite in Patrick Reed. So I think all the mental things as well as the physical skills for Patrick Reed really dictate. I love that 28-1 price. And just to throw one more in there,
please,
because I know I'm sort of bogarting you on the thing there. I do have a long shot, and I think Lee Westwood. I know he hasn't looked great, but this is a guy who knows how to play at the Masters. He's a terrific ball striker. Let me pull up. He's in the top 10 in from my model. So I did par 74 courses on bent grass, medium firmness with playing longer. That's the model that I use for my stats here. And in those conditions, 27th in total shots gained, 4th tee to green, 9th in ball striking, 7th in short game, 4th in strokes gained off the tee, which is a little unusual for a guy like Lee Westwood, but he's 4th, 19th in approach, 15th around a green, and 3rd in putting. He knows how to putt on this bent grass. So if you're looking for a long shot there, I think you could do a whole lot worse than a guy like Lee Westwood this week.
Yeah, Craig, well, obviously we know all about Lee Westwood, and he finds a way to miss them 3 and 4 putts. He gives himself look after look after look for birdie, and they just don't seem to drop. Craig, your winning selections, Jon Rahm at 10s. And Fab, what was the other one for Craig, please?
Bubba.
Been there, seen it, done it. I wonder about, has Bubba changed his putting stroke, by the way?
Well, he's still I don't know if he's changed it. He's certainly been tinkering with it a lot. And I guess it's always a work in progress for Bubba. You need him to catch it right for you that week. But he does know the greens. He knows Augusta. He has got the perfect game. A little bit worried from the gallery point of view. Bubba likes the galleries, probably needs the adrenaline. So, so there is reason to be starting to worry about Bubba now with no galleries. Jon Rahm, like you said, we don't want Bryson to take away his focus. He's just got to play the opening 2 rounds, get in it. I'm not a big fan of Jon Rahm's from the front. So if he gets in contention from day one, I would kind of be feeling like I've got to oppose him. Even the Memorial, which was the first time he's won a tournament in front, at the death, he really nearly lost it after playing superbly. I mean, the Memorial was a good canvas for this week. The course set up so tough. But what Jon Rahm needs, if he's a racehorse, he needs covering up till the line. You've seen him win the Irish Open, come flying through the field and things. He needs a little bit of cover. I'm not a big fan of his when he's right in the spotlight all the time. So for Jon Rahm, I want to suggest to people is to throw a small bet in and then maybe bet him in running at a bigger price, maybe from 3 back. You're looking at about 3 back with Jon Rahm. And, he is, for me, I know Kyle said that DJ is the best player in the world, but I actually think Jon Rahm's in such the early stages of his career that in a way, Jon Rahm is better than DJ. DJ's kind of, if he was a racehorse, he's exposed. You've seen it. He's got all that baggage, whereas right. Jon Rahm doesn't have that baggage. Not saying he won't. I mean, DJ's a brilliant player. I love watching him.
No, Craig, I think it's fair to say that Jon Rahm's playing the best golf on the planet.
Yeah, and these last 2 years here have shown he handles it. And then we go back to what you said about the Spaniards, Flash. Spaniards have loved it here from Seve. Seve was the trailblazer for Europe, not just the Spaniards. And then Ollie came along, and then 90s changed European golf because suddenly no one could beat Ollie and Seve in the Ryder Cup. They were the pairing that they basically took it to the opposition. And then the thing with Sergio, everyone expected him to do so well, and he had to wait to win the Masters till he'd actually, in his own mind, he got at peace with the fact that he might never win a major championship. I remember the book, The Cab, and him saying, I was all right with the fact now. He's kind of got married, he's got older, like you do. But the one thing you do get with the Spanish, you get a remarkable camaraderie, and they all feed off it. And, I see them exchange tweets and what have you. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Rahm go in and just continue that tradition. And it's a big factor in what you said for Rafa Cabrera Bello. They love it round here, and they are. Rahm is a ball striker, which possibly Seve Ollie was a great ball striker, but he wasn't particularly long. But Seve did it with just pure class, didn't he? I don't even think Seve knew how he did it. He was that good. And,
he was a natural talent.
Yeah, but Rahm. This is a point for Rahm, though. This is a point in his career where he could go on and dominate the likes of DJ. And if he suddenly balks a couple of times in the Masters, and like Rory did, people start talking about him because he's seen Bryson win the major. He's seen Colin Morikawa win, which is a guy we've not mentioned, by the way. And and so he's going to be feeling a little bit envious of them two, and he's going to be feeling a little bit of pressure. Now, that goes one of two ways in the back of the mind. Sometimes you just get so determined and focused, it doesn't matter, you'll just obliterate everything in your way. But he's paired with Bryson. He's actually paired with him. So let's just watch them opening 2 rounds, see what we get, and maybe play him in running a little bit more.
Okay, and like Kyle, if I gave you one player that no one's thought about, under the radar, even further under the radar, and from Europe, who would you be mentioning?
Victor Perez.
French boy.
Yeah, the reason for that, I don't really think he could win it, but he's like 250 to 1 each way, 10 places, some of the firms. Now, what I like about it is the form that ties in with Wentworth. Now, we're going to say that, and then we're going to see Tyrrell Hatton's just won at Wentworth, and he's played 3 times at Augusta, and he's never broke 70.
He's too emotional for me round Augusta.
He makes no sense, but that's what's happened. But if you go back to the Seve Ballesteros, and you go back to Nick Faldo, and you go back to one in particular, Angel Cabrera, he loved Wentworth. He was massive off the tee, but Wentworth was a fiddly test when he was playing there, high ball striker. And here comes Perez, played well in the BMW PGA. He's I liked him at the start of the year, lost his form, and he's going to come here as a debutant, and people are talking about Champ as a debutant and Kokrak. This guy is, I think, at 3 times their prices, he's definitely worth a play in the side markets. And that Wentworth link, if you look at it, Danny Willett, perfect example. It's there. Yeah, I know class players win. Paul Casey, who Carl mentioned, Paul Casey has always been able to play Wentworth fantastically. So it's there and it's in the books. I know Tyrrell Hatton kind of throws it a bit out the window this year, but you've got a situation where, I think as an outsider, Victor Perez is definitely. I've had him in top European at 66, a little bit at 250, and top 20 at 13 to 2, 7.5. So he's my one from left field this week. But I do take Carl's point on Westwood. I'd love to see him win. Love to see Westwood win, but. Interesting market for Westwood. Top Englishman at about 10, 9. It's quite a small market this week, so you might want to look at that because Westwood loves it and he is just class. God knows how he's not won a major, but and you watch him on Twitter. I think he's just got comfortable getting old, and he only plays when the adrenaline's there. But he played well in the US Open, so we know he's still got it.
Yeah, this is the greatest golf show on earth. It's 4 days of unscripted drama. Now mine, I've gone with absolute solid mental citizens. I've gone with Patrick Reed. Mid-30s I got back in January and February. And also I've gone with, a bomb could go off next to him and he'd probably yawn, in Louis Oosthuizen at around 55 to 1. I don't see them getting involved in any of the drama. They'll be there come Sunday, I hope. Yeah. And the one that obviously I didn't put up on the caption, but I have definitely bet, and I will be cheering. And listen, if he goes wire to wire, then all credit to him. It's Brooks Koepka. He was 10 under at the weekend, number 1 in, this is the biggest category for me, in shots gained on the greens. Putting, he was +2 over anyone. His driving accuracy was like 34%. His greens in regulation were nearly 70 and 2 shots on the field with the flat stick. And that, for me, it's all about the flat stick when we go to Augusta. Now, if you like this video, and honestly, we're wishing our lives away because it's 48 hours prior to the first tee on Thursday morning, Augusta National, Georgia. Then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means we'll notify you and you will not miss any content again. And if you press the link in the description, that'll take you over to Craig's articles and there'll be like top 10, top 20, top international players, everything you want. So go over there and have a great read. Also, for all 4 days, I will be doing a roundup video on our social media, SBR Sports Picks, and I'll be going through what I think will be going on the next day. So all 4 days we will be covering here on SBR. It's the Masters. Carl, good luck with your bets. I hope your winners are the same as mine. Craig, I know you're going to be there at the end. We'll be chatting for the next 4, 5, 6 days. It is the Masters from Augusta. There's no place like it, and we love our golf. You take care.